Hello everybody. Freezing cold and the central heating's not working. So I'm in my nice big woolly jumper. You're very lucky I took my hoodie off because I had that thing on. And I was quite liking the warmth. Anyway, as promised, today we're going to play with these two palettes. So one is a complexion palette. So you've got all of these here, which we'll go through in more detail. And the other one, a little bit of highlighting and then eyeshadows. We're going to make a look from that. As much as I can, I will try and use NARS products. So let's get started. First thing I always do before I do my makeup every single day is I wash my face. Then, if I do anything else, as soon as I sit down here in my makeup chair, I go through and use the Pixie Glow Tonic. I use that on a cotton pad, and that just wipes over your face, and amazingly more can come off your face. Not a lot, but sometimes you miss a few spots or you've got a build-up of something. I always like to make sure that my face is clean and ready before I put anything on. Once I've done that, today what I've done is I've used this NARS, and this is a liquid serum. You can put it on a cotton pad, but just so I don't waste the cotton pad and all the product, I just put a tiny bit on my hands, and it's almost like water. You can't sort of see it. And then I just put it on like this, all over my face. And that's it. So that's what I've put on, followed by some NARS Smooth and Protect Primer. This is a really good primer. And then also followed by my Queen Screen Ultraviolet SPF 50 plus sunscreen. Always like to wait maybe 5 or so minutes after I've done my sunscreen before I actually start doing my makeup, just to give it a little bit of time to sit and settle. First thing I'm going to do is my sort of concealing. I'm going to do that under my foundation. I'm going to use the NARS Sheer Glow foundation today because I'm using a sheer glow and I'm a bit sort of a lighter foundation. I want to make sure that I can still cover up where I need to cover up. This is the Fenty Beauty, and this is in the color 04 Crepe. I'm just going to put a couple of dots under my eyes, one on top, a couple of dots down here because I have a little bit of discoloration. Just anywhere where you generally want to make sure that you have a little bit of extra coverage. These areas for me are areas of my face where my makeup will wear during the day. And if they're going to come off, it's going to be around my nose and my chin. Let's quickly blend all that in. So a little bit of the NARS Sheer Glow. And I have the colour Mont Blanc. I'm just going to quickly rub this through and then we'll get to the fun stuff. This is a tinted smudge proof eyeshadow base by NARS, and it is so good. I have this in the colour medium, and I deliberately got medium because I wanted something that would help colour correct. Even though it's medium, it actually does not at all feel like it's too dark. It's a really good color. Let's put on a tiny bit of concealer. We'll put on a tiny bit of concealer. Why not? I often hear people saying sponges will absorb product. As long as they're damp, you should be fine. Just gonna quickly duck off and do my brows. Quickly tidy them up. Has anybody had their brows microbladed? I'm sort of thinking about it. Let me know. I'd be interested to find out. I'm going to use the new NARS Laguna bronzer. That is the color there. Very, very nice product. Very nice buttery formula. The only thing is with this bronzer, I have found it looks a lot better and it blends in a lot better if your foundation is a little bit more luminous. It's fine with matte foundations, matte formulas, but you just got to work it in a bit more. That's all. That's what I have found. Now that could just be my skin. Probably is. If you do find that it's not blending in as easily, like this is just going on without any effort whatsoever. So even with the matte foundation, it's effortless to put it on. Like it's really easy to build up, got a great color payout. It doesn't sort of make the foundation underneath move or anything like that. I think it wears better on a more luminous base. But either way, they both look good too. So it's a good bronzer. A little tiny bit on each corner here, just to give a tiny shadow, because the idea of putting a bronzer on is that it creates the shadow so that where you put the bronzer is supposed to sink into the background, and then the lighter parts come forward, and that's what makes you look so vibrant and healthy. if you're going to put it on your chin, you want to put some here and some here, which just helps accentuate your chin, basically. There's no real way to contour your neck. Somebody asked me that the other day. You just bring it down. If you just bring your foundation brush or a little bit of your bronze cream or powder down on your neck if you want to. I don't know how to do it any other way. I have seen on Instagram some people doing that triangle thing, but I think that would only work if you looked at someone from the side. If you're looking at someone straight on, it doesn't really matter what they've done here because you're not going to notice it, which is why you want to do a little bit there. And if you put your head to the side, they'll see that shadow too. We're pretty much ready to go. This is the Orgasm Laguna. This is their blush. So I'm going to put a tiny bit of that just above the bronzer. I'm just going to work that in with my finger. This is a really beautiful liquid blush if you're looking for something in the liquid family. Since we're doing the NARS palettes, I thought it was a good opportunity to get it out and use it. Just like the bronzer, it just blends in beautifully, just to give me a little bit more color. I don't need a lot. Like I've used literally a pin drop on each side. This will last me for a very long time. If I used it every day, it would easily last me a year, I would think. Before you set your face, you see me do this a lot, I'm sure. I'm just gonna go back under my eyes and just stamp out any tiny little lines that started to come. You don't want to be setting a line in your foundation, so you go back and smooth that out and see there how it started to pull. So I'm just going to take my little sponge through there again. Occasionally I get some down here which are really annoying, those smile lines. I think they call them the marionette lines, especially there. I like to go in, puff out my cheek a bit and smooth that back over. Now I'm going to take my By Terry powder and I'm going to just hit under my eye there with this powder. It's a very fine powder. I use it a lot. It's got hyaluronic acid in it. If you're looking for a powder that actually helps to support hydration in your face and it's not going to make you feel really, really dry, this is a really good one to have a look at. I've just only dipped into that once and I'm just going and using whatever was on the brush, go and work that in. And I'll come back and take the excess off under my eyes. And don't forget to set under your nose. I'm really working this into that eye so that we have a really nice smooth base when we go and put our eyeshadow on. If you have lines down here and you go down, you're putting the powder and it's gonna sit in that line really easily. Whereas if you very gently put it on, stamp it in, and then gently rub across, gently, 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 like super gently, and just keep rubbing across a little bit, you may be able to minimize or even remove, depending on how deep, might be able to remove it, or you'll at least be able to minimize it. Definitely give that a try. Okay, let's start with the NARS Orgasm palette. I put a photo of this on my Instagram. Go and have a look if you want to have a really good look at it. These are the colors here. I can tell you now the textures are lovely. Let me just quickly do a little swatchki. So this one here, start here. Okay, so this one here in the middle, here, the one at the top, here, that's better. Okay, now I'll just do the others for you. This one here, starting at Zuma, just go there. That's Zuma. This one here is beautiful, that one. And then the very last one, which is Montezuma, there. So that gives you an idea of color. I'm going to go in with my brush and I'm going to use this one here and just sort of give myself a little bit more bronze and emphasize that bronze that I have there. And these are so creamy. I'm not even needing to work it in. It just sits on the face so beautifully. I actually thought they'd be quite glowy. I don't really like to wear too much of a glowy blush or bronzer. I prefer to put the glow where I want it. I don't necessarily want it in my products, but they're not at all too luminous. They've got a little bit of a sheen to them. especially if you've got textured skin. You don't want to be putting highlighted products over texture, but these are just sort of they don't sort of accentuate anything. They're just subtle, as you can see. So we're just going over where we put the cream bronzer just to help accentuate that. And then a tiny bit, just tap that down my nose and across the bottom. I'm going to keep using the same brush. I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean. Okay, so I'm going to go into this color here, and I'm going to just go over where we put that NARS liquid blush and just accentuate that. This is a very pretty coral color, as you can see. Tapping that on, and it's just going on so beautifully. It's just amazing. There's no working in. I'm just patting it in and bang, it's on. That's it, done. Now this is the NARS Euphoria palette. This one here, you've got your shadows and then you've got 3 highlighters. So I'm going to go into this highlighter here. This is just a large blending brush. All I'm going to do is hit the tops of my cheeks with that. Now, if you've got fine lines around your eyes, if your fine lines are around here, then what you want to do is start your highlighter where they end, or where they start, however you want to say it. You don't want to put highlighter over fine lines. You put them just where they end or where they start, or just underneath. I'm only taking this probably about this far across my face because I want to keep that lifted look. So I don't want to take it too far in. This color I'm using, it's got a tiny bit of pigment to it, but not a lot. Can you see that color there? You can definitely see it here. I'm just going to take a little bit on the tip of my nose here. I'll take some down my chin on it, and then I'll put a little bit over the cupid's bow. Now eyes, this color here, the very first color, and I'm just going to blend that all the way through my sockets, and I'm basically putting it all over my eye just as a base color, just to act as that little breakthrough background color if I need it. But it will also help the other shadows to stand out. So 2 birds, 1 stone. If you guys want me to do a live, put some music on and start doing some lives, let me know. Happy to do it. A couple of people have asked, so you can either DM me or you can leave a message in the comments, whatever you like. The next color I'm going to go into is that color on this side here, that brown. I am going to take that through my crease, but when I say through my crease, I'm sort of talking above it. So I am working that above and up, and really concentrating on putting a little bit more on the outside corner. Can you see how that lifts the eye just by having that darker color there? So we're going to put the brush here, dump the color on the outside edge of the eye and blend it in a tiny bit. And then once you've dumped most of the color off the brush, you can then take it through down to the inside, and then you're just blending it upwards. These shadows are just so beautiful. They almost don't need to be blended. Like, I'm just sort of tapping them on. There's not a lot of work involved here. Just going to put a little bit more on just to sort of intensify that color a little bit so you can see it really. Toby is fast asleep. So you can really see how that just looks so stunning, doesn't it? I'm just going to now probably have to change brushes though, although I'm really enjoying using these brushes. These are the It Cosmetics ones. I think this is just a Beauty Bay brush. I'm just going to take that color that we just put on the top, and I'm just going to run that along the bottom of my eye as well. Sometimes if you want to put a darker color on your eye underneath, it helps to have a lighter color under the darker color just to diffuse it a little bit so it's not so harsh. And that's what I'm doing. And as I also say, it's a great way to hide discoloration and fine lines if you put a shadow under there. It just takes the focus to the color rather than to the whatever it is you're trying to hide. So I'm taking it from under here, taking it along, and then if I shut my eye, I can show you, I'm just joining it to that corner there so that it all looks like pretty much a C effect effectively. I don't want to leave that color under my eyes though. I'm going to put the darker brown over it for sure. But now I'm going to go into that darker brown, and I am going to put that through the crease again, but I am not taking it below. So I'm going to keep this darker on the outside of my eye, and I'm going to put it a little bit through the center and on the inner corner, but not as dark. I want most of that color concentration to be on that outer corner. You can take it through that crease just to sort of marry all the colors together. But I'm really concentrating on getting that outer corner quite dark. You can see how just by putting that darker color on the outside has lifted the eye. You can see the difference. Same thing again. This is a really versatile palette. It's got a couple of neutrals, foiled shadows in here, or the sheen shadows, however you want to describe them. Some of them are quite colorful. You could do some really fun things, but you can also do a really practical daytime look as well with it. So it's a good little palette for everyday makeup, or if you wanted to go full glam with it, you could too. Now, by all means, please don't feel like you need to go out and have these products. Whatever colors you've got that you like, that will work fine. The reason we have them is so we can show you in case you're looking or thinking about getting them. But most importantly, I'm just showing you what I know so that you can get that same sort of relaxation that I get from makeup, and I quite enjoy doing my makeup. So for me, that's what I'm doing. I'm not here trying to promote NARS and get you to buy something. So whatever you've got at home is perfect. Thinking about buying the palette and you happen to see this video and this makes you decide that you want it or you don't want it, that's fine too. It's as much about the product as it is about why we're all here and what we're doing and learning as we go. So I'm going to get quite a small brush like this one here, so you can see how small that is. I'm just going to go into that brown. I'll tap off any excess. I'm just going to run that along the bottom of my eye. And because we had that shadow there, it's really blended in really nicely. And that just gives us a little bit of shape. Same thing on the other side. Okay, so I'm just intensifying that outer corner with this brush a little bit more. Okay, I've swatched the colors for you there. They are the shimmer colors. I'm going to use these two here. So let's go into that dark brown shimmer, which is this one here. And I'm just going to put that only on the eyelid. And you can notice I'm using a flat brush. I'm going to put that on the outer third and the inner third. This brown here. And I'm only putting it over the actual eyelid and then flicking it up a little bit past my eye socket just to lift it a bit, like that. And then I'm actually going to put some of that as well in that inner corner, and I am not taking that past the crease. We've got a little bit on the inner and a little bit on the outer, the lighter shade in the middle. I'll just do the same thing on this side. Now I'm going to take that lighter color, which is the one here, and I'm just going to put that right through the center of these. Let's just go into this top one here. I've already put my fingernail in that. That's so annoying. Let's just go into this top color here. What I'm going to do is take that on the inside of my eye as a highlight. That's a nice gold. I'm going to grab my Charlotte Tilbury black and sort of like a nude color. I'm going to use the black end because I think we need some black, because if I put brown, probably wouldn't do a whole lot because we've got quite dark brown here anyway. I'm going to just take that like I usually do, just through the under the waterline of my eye. I don't want to take it on top. I just prefer to take it under, but if you want to take it on top, that's fine too. If you have trouble putting on an eye pencil or an eye pen or anything like that, some people do say like if you look the other way, it makes it easier. So if I'm doing my inner of my eye, if I look outwards while I'm doing it. The other thing is you can put your mascara on, and then once you've got your mascara on, you can very gently just rest whatever you're using on the top and just dab across gently like that. And use your lashes as a sort of like a guide, but also to sort of hold the pen for you a little bit and stop it from going down too far. It's actually really easy to do it. So if you find lining that top of your eye a little bit hard, try putting your mascara on first and then doing it, and you'll find that you'll get a bit more support. That might help. Just like that. And I'm just going to take it down through the waterline across the bottom as well, just very lightly. Mascara. Where is my NARS mascara? This is definitely a look that you could put some lashes on with. I did curl my lashes earlier. I'm just taking any excess mascara off the brush so I don't get big globs of it on me. Light coat first, set them in place, set them in the direction you want them to point, and then you go over that with your last coat and they should be fine. Really gentle coat just to sort of sit them in place. One's on the inside pointing this way, one's in the middle pointing up, and the one's on the outside pointing out. I use that really initial first coat just to set them gently. The ones on the bottom will just be the ones on the bottom. You can't really do much with them. I also find if you have a little bit of a light coat of mascara on before you go in for a normal coat, sometimes you don't get as much dumping onto the lashes. Less likely to get those big globs of mascara. Sometimes you just can't avoid it, but it does help to stop those globs from coming off your wand. If your lashes are a little bit coated with something before you go right on in, that's just what I like to do. Last thing we need to do is something to the lips. This is just a NARS satin lip pencil, and this is in the color Biscayne Park lip pencil. That's what it says. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that on. Don't need too much on the lips because we've got a lot going on the eyes. It's quite a pretty color, isn't it? Lovely. So once you've done your everything, just in terms of keeping your makeup on for the day, we'll get a video up on how to make your makeup last. I'm just in the process of editing that. Thank you so much for coming back and watching and spending your valuable time with me. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I really, really do appreciate your time and all your messages. I do have a YouTube channel. That's just Glam Mums, and that needs a lot of love. It's feeling very neglected. So if you do go over to YouTube, I would really, really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind subscribing. That would really help me out and would be greatly appreciated. This means that I can continue to show you all these videos and bring you all these products. That's all. All right, guys. Well, you take care. Message me or leave a message in the comments for anything you want to see. Any questions? If not, keep safe, keep well, and I will see you again very soon.